10th graduation that happens to fall on our 10th year. So it's our 10th anniversary and our 10th graduation. Welcome, everyone. If you can make sure that you're... Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me in the back? Yvette? Okay, perfect. We wanted to start the program by introducing the dogs and the people, the significant people who are presenting each dog. We wanted the veterans to get their dogs as quickly as possible, so we'll jump right into that part. The first presenter... Family have taken on multiple dogs and lovingly took on Bradley for a very long period of time so that he could be out of prison. They've done a wonderful job introducing him to kids and story time and all the things that he needed. Hopefully some of the pictures will be showing up there. Chris and your family, please come. Bradley made a trip up to prison yesterday to say goodbye to his favorite lieutenant, who was really disappointed he didn't get to say goodbye, so Mark rode with me so that they could see him one last time. By the Greenwood family, and the littlest family member, Piper, has really bonded with the Eagle and was having a moment outside to say goodbye. So let's welcome the Greenwood family. I'm sorry, I neglected to say the mom's name is Christy Greenwood.
Look at that.
The person presenting radar is Leanne Marlowe. And Leanne, I'm going to get through this. Leanne got radar when he was 8 weeks old. So saying goodbye is really hard for her. But she's very, very proud of the things she's done. We are so very proud of her still being a part of it. Leanne, could you come up and present radar? Thank you, Leanne. And last but not least, we have Trooper. Trooper was mainly raised in Jacksonville as well as Texas, and he flew in and joined us at prison. Miss Jerry will be presenting Trooper, and Miss Jerry is the director of the Angel side of Wolf. So she helps with the rescue side of Wolf, and she has donated her time and her love and her knowledge for the past 10 years. And when we were thinking of who was going to present Trooper, the inmates said, well, it has to be Miss Jerry. So Miss Jerry, can you bring Trooper forward?
He wants to make friends. I want to make friends.
what the process is. The veterans all came in last Saturday, and they have had a full week of training with Mr. Lee, who is our board president as well as our trainer, and Yvette. So they've trained, and Lee's going to tell you a little bit more about the training that they've done, as well as the veterans who've received the dogs. So please help me welcome Lee Conker.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. Well, I want to say thank you. A little louder? Is this better? Yeah. Okay. I want to say thank you to everybody. This could not have happened without you. This has been an incredible journey for all of us. It's not just about training, but it's about coming together as a team and providing something that's going to make a difference in every one of these guys' lives. So thank you so much. Thank you. When they started on Saturday, every one of them are a little bit apprehensive. They didn't know what to expect. It's been hard to try to get them to understand that dog training is going to continue on even after they get them. They've all come together very, very well with their dogs. The dogs have bonded incredibly well in a very short period of time. What I'd like to do is start introducing from my left to right is Sharon and her dog. Okay, I don't know if you know their names or anything like that, but Sharon, then we have Diane, Mark. There it is. Joe, he's the only Marine in the group. Everybody else. And then again, finally, is Chris. These guys have all done an incredibly well job adjusting to their new way of life. The process of training, it takes a while for the dogs to start getting used to their new handler. They've had 2 years of training, and once they get to the new handler, there's always a new component with that new handler to mitigate the circumstances for the reason they have that dog. I'm not sure what else I can say. It's just an incredible journey. I know as hard as I look, it's very hard for me to not be emotional with these guys because they're really special people. But that's really all I can really say about their training and what they've been through. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and bring Lori Fry up here. I was not expecting that. Yeah, I'm going to pass it off to you so you can start crying.
Thank you, Lee. I won't keep this too long. I was told 5 minutes. Anyway, hello everyone. It's great to see you. My name is Lori Fry. If you do not know me, I am the treasurer for Patriot Service Dogs. And to give you a little background on how I became involved with Patriot Service Dogs was a few years back, I met Susan Bolton. She's one of the co-founders for Patriot Service Dogs at the annual puppy crop. And Susan has always been that kind of person who will say, hey, would you like to train a dog? Would you like to train a dog? And I looked her straight in the face and goes, there's no way. Me, honestly, I said, the dog would be sleeping in my bed, would be able to run the house, and would be able to run all over me. And then on top of that, falling in love with the dog, you really think I could give her up? So what I did, we got on the conversation, don't remember exactly how it happened, but we got on the conversation of finances, accounting, and stuff like that. I said, oh yeah, I'm an accountant. And she goes, oh, hold that thought. And I was like, okay. So she presented it, she came up to me and she says, how would you like to serve on the board with Patriot Service Dogs? And I was like, wow, here's an opportunity, not only to show my love of the dogs, but also to our veterans. So here it is. Now, fast forward 2019, 5 years later, We're attending the 10th graduation and our 10th anniversary, which is a huge milestone. The thing is, this is my second graduation. I'm excited to see everybody once again. Sorry, I'm not, sometimes it's put, you see them one time, you don't remember everybody's name, but I'm so glad to see all of you. Also, 2019 started off as a very good year. Patriot Service Dogs purchased our first major asset. We purchased a 2019 Ford Transit van. This van has been a great asset to us because here we got a way to transport not only the pups, but the dogs to not only the weekend raisers, but any events and things that are going on. Then here recently, we were just gifted with... See, he's excited too. We were just recently gifted with 5 acres of land in Brooksville. While it's not developed, it is our vision right now to take that land, clear it, place us a home, mobile home, but we're still working in the process, to make this an outlet to take the dogs from prison and have them start getting acclimated to a way of life outside of prison. And this is also going to be a venue to where when we bring in our veterans, we've got kind of a quiet area. Granted, the hotel that they're working in now has been tremendous. They've offered a lot of services to us, so we're not overlooking that at all. But this will give them a chance to bond with all of their dogs at that same time. We also have brought in, over the past couple of years, more board members. So what started out between Julie, Susan, and myself has now grown to Lee, Garth, who is not here, Yvette, and now at Mike Applebaum. And we're so pleased to have such a variety of members on our board to bring in our business vision and our leadership. But all of this just is small in comparison. The raisers who spend endless time training the dogs with commands, and also our wolf program. I cannot tell you how much I keep hearing about wolf, and it just gives me such a great feeling. Now, one of the other events that you don't see down here, but it's attending in Jacksonville, is the puppy crop. Susan Bolton puts on a tremendous event. We have about somewhere in between 50 and 60 ladies where, okay, what's a puppy crop? It's a scrapbooking event, but it's actually more of a crafting event. So if you sew, do scrapbooking, card making, we have that up there as well. And I encourage you to come out and see how this event comes to place as well. So finally, our partnership with the Village for Vets, Dynamic Dogs, Catholic Daughters, the ladies who support Patriot through the yearly puppy crop in Jacksonville, and as well as others who have donated their services and time, I want to thank you and keep encouraging you to keep supporting Patriot Service Dogs so we can have more events like this to service our vets. Thank you.
When he makes a puppy,
Show off. Our next speaker was a recipient from last year. I'd like to call Mr. Kevin Sanamet. Saint Amant. I keep messing that up. I'm so sorry. You're getting closer. I see you're getting closer slowly. So he will be our next speaker.
Thank you. I'm going to raise my chair up a little bit so I can get to the podium.
Hopefully Sergeant will cooperate with me. Sorry. Now, downstairs. A lot of the dogs behind Sergeant were incarcerated together for a year, so they've been trying to get as close to each other as possible over the last couple days. Dog's memories look like an elephant's memory, I guess. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, veterans and service dogs. My name is Kevin St. Amant, and I'm a disabled Marine Corps veteran. Semper Fi, brothers. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to extend my thanks to Julie for asking me to speak with you today. I also thank each and every one of you for attending today's ceremony, and I'd like to give a big congratulations to the veterans who are graduating the service dog class of 2019. I would also like to thank our trainer, Lee Conger, the inmate trainers, the weekend volunteer and take-home trainers, and of course, Patriot Service Dogs for providing us with these excellent service dogs. Last but not least, my sincere gratitude to Marie Bogdanoff and Villagers for Veterans. They sponsored Mark Rush's service dog, Bradley. And they also sponsored my service dog, Sergeant. Villages for Veterans has now sponsored a total of 6 Patriot Service Dogs. Let's give them a big round of applause. Sergeant and I graduated last year. We recently celebrated his 3rd birthday and our 1st anniversary together. Graduates, I know you've already started to experience the bond that you'll be building with your service dogs. Bear with me a second. Sergeant and I bonded instantly, and some people would say rather dramatically. Sergeant is not only my service dog, he's also become my best friend, my buddy, and my steadfast companion. Words cannot describe how much Sergeant has improved my quality of life. I would equate this experience to having your firstborn child. Sergeant is always at my side, ready and eager to help me, wanting to play with me, and always looking for the opportunity to snuggle with me. He is a very loyal, loving companion, and my steadfast support system. I tell you, there's no better feeling than falling asleep with Sergeant's head on my shoulder and waking up with him at my side. It's very comforting. These great service dogs are mostly trained to help us physically, but they also quickly and rather naturally become your mental support partner too. Most of you graduates have experienced the horrors of war, were severely injured, or suffered traumatic brain injuries. Your highly dedicated service dog will comfort you while you're in pain, help you through suffering horrible memories,
and make it easier for you to deal with the many challenges of life. This will build your confidence, help you socialize, and lift your spirits. Their thousands of hours of training will provide you with a multitude of physical assistance that will make it much easier to live a more normal life. Over time, you'll notice your pain, your stress, and your blood pressure being reduced by your new buddy. It will take time and dedication to build a strong relationship and enjoy all the benefits that this life-changing bond will provide. These are professionally trained service dogs, but keep in mind the fact that they were also two-year-old pups with a very high level of energy and curiosity. This will pass, but you must be patient with them as they learn and grow through their terrible twos. You must continue to train them daily and provide them a good quality of life for your relationship to blossom. Give them plenty of exercise by playing with them several times a day and take them for a long walk each day. This will allow them to expend their energy while being a crucial part of building your bond and gaining their trust. This incredible program would not be possible without your donations and support. Please continue to be a donor, become a new donor, so we can help other disabled veterans receive these outstanding service dogs. This is a great opportunity to help our most worthy disabled veterans receive the blessing of a service dog, and I say the blessing of a lifetime. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevin. We have really cute pictures of Sarge as an adult dog when Radar came in as a puppy, so they definitely know each other. Our next guest speaker comes to us through the Wolf program, has continued to raise for us, continued to make us very proud. Please help me welcome Allison Chambliss.
No idea there's going to be so many people here today. Okay, my name is can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. My name is Allison Chambliss. A lot of the volunteers had no idea who we were when we walked in. My boyfriend Corey and I raised Willow over in New Smyrna Beach. So in the summer of 2011, I was in a drinking and driving accident that caused the death of someone I cared about. In May 2012, 11 months after the accident, I was sentenced to 7 years in prison. I had never been in trouble before and didn't know what to expect, so shortly after I arrived at Lowell's Annex, I instantly knew that I needed to find something to get involved in if I was going to make it to 2018. I really wanted to get transferred to Gadsden, which is a private prison in North Florida, because I heard that they had a dog program up there. Instead, I got transferred 3 minutes up the hill to Lowell's work camp in the middle of July where there's no air conditioning. But there were dogs, and so I started asking around about the dog program and was obviously really interested. However, at the time, WOOF consisted of just 12 women, and I figured my chances were pretty low. I submitted a request anyway, and in just 3 weeks, I was in. The WOOF program changed everything for me. I fully expected prison to be completely horrific, but it turned into a positive experience and something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. We lived with the dogs 24 hours a day. Nobody minded the 2 a.m. potty breaks or not having it. We were learning and growing and doing good for someone else. We challenged ourselves and each other with teaching new commands and brainstormed if someone was struggling teaching something new. And of course, the dogs were incredibly therapeutic for us. My family loved hearing about the progress of my puppies, and once the dogs were able to start going with us, getting to see them grow up at visitation. The volunteers and weekend raisers that came in and were so kind and supportive of us just reinforced all of our hard work. The other inmates on the compound loved seeing the dogs, and even the officers were a bit friendlier to us. The presence of a dog can change the whole energy of a situation, and in our case, these dogs made the entire work camp a better place. I trained 2 Humane Society dogs before moving into the service dog side. Kennedy was my first, who I raised for about 7 months before it was decided to release him. He was fearful of men along with some completely random things, but he was the beginning of my golden retriever obsession. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. After Kennedy, I raised Hero and then Patriot, who were both successfully placed with veterans. I also worked with Gunner, Mimi, and Jerry. When Hero placed, I had the opportunity to meet his recipient on a few different occasions. Brian was the first veteran that had come into WOOF, at least since I had been in the program, and it brought an entirely new perspective to what we were doing. Hearing Brian talk about the struggles he faced, as well as his sincere appreciation for what we were doing, provided some insight into what our veterans go through. In turn, it also helped me realize just how important our work with the dogs really was. Hero quickly made a pretty significant impact in Brian's life, and I was so proud of that big, wonderful dog. I spent almost 3.5 years in the WOOF program before being transferred to pre-work release and then work release, which is the final stretch before you go home. And finally, on April 24th, 2018, it was time to go. And I was scared, but I was happy, but I had no idea what life was going to be like with work and school and family. What I did know was that I do really well when I have something to stay busy with and focus on, so I knew exactly what I needed to make this transition. It was another puppy. 6 days after I got home, Julie brought me 8.5-week-old Willow, and my plan definitely worked because she completely exhausted me. So I guess it just happened that I received all of my prison puppies in the middle of summer, and they were so hot that they just napped the whole time. So in comparison to them, Willow was completely wild. So the 6 years of Netflix I wanted to lay around and catch up on, it was not happening. But she got easier, as puppies do, and I am so incredibly thankful that I've had her with me. So part of my sentence stipulated that I have to complete 100 hours of speaking to children about drinking and driving. And this essentially means going into high schools and telling my story, which isn't the easiest thing to talk about. The first few times I did were really rough for me, and Willow knew. She's exceptionally intuitive to my emotions and feelings, and she would put her paws up on the table or chair beside me, or rest her face into my hands or against my legs. So far, I've completed 35 hours, and she's been with me for every single one. It's gotten much easier, but I couldn't imagine having done it without her. In other everyday situations, she's helped with any social anxiety and awkwardness I may be feeling. She makes me laugh and smile even on days when I think nothing can. My whole family adores her, and she goes on weekend trips to Grandma's house. And one of Corey and I's most favorite and fun things to do this summer has been taking Willow to the dog beach, where we live in New Smyrna. It's been really awesome experiencing the other side of raising a service dog. I'm very appreciative of being able to do the things I used to only see pictures of, like taking her shopping or to restaurants and of course Disney. I've had Willow for over a year now, and I will say that raising a dog out here is much different than raising them in prison. Between working full-time and being a full-time student on top of just life, I'm busy, but we're getting there, just slower than what I was accustomed to, which is just one of the many reasons why WOOF is so important. The women do an amazing job and have the time and ability to teach commands quickly and efficiently, producing these well-trained and well-loved dogs. I am so proud and grateful to be a volunteer for this wonderful organization. These dogs transform the lives of their veterans, providing support and comfort during a challenging transition, but have also affected the lives of many others. Patriot Service Dogs helped me through one of the most trying times of my life, and has helped me ease back into this wonderful life I have now. Although it will be so hard to say goodbye to Willow next year. I don't know, the privilege of being able to be part of such an amazing program is well worth it. Congratulations, I love you.
I want to make sure that we touch base with all the groups that make this happen. We get the dogs because they're sponsored. And the sponsorships come from many different places. They come from families and they come from groups. And other groups hear about it and want to sponsor. And some groups are huge and some groups are small. But we so appreciate all your love and support of the dogs. We try and make it to some group meetings so that everyone in the group can see the wonderful work they do. So I want to introduce a few different groups so that you guys can applaud for them and know how we're able to do this. The food and the treats and the poop bags and everything else it takes to run this program come because of these sponsorships. These groups sponsor and sponsor and sponsor, and they get done with one and they say, when can we do the next one? So amazing. So I would first like to acknowledge our weekend raisers. So if you are a weekend raiser, would you please stand up? And thank you all so much. Let me explain what happens. We hand them a dog, and we give them a list of, could you introduce this dog to squirrels and boats? And every time they introduce the dog to multiple squirrels, and they'll write notes and say, we introduced her to a squirrel in a tree, and a squirrel on the lawn, and a squirrel in the park, and they're fantastic. And they also, when they first come to the meeting, hear about one of our real needs, and have really been really good about it, which is surprising. We make it very clear that when you have a dog and you have a male in your house, we would really like it if you would take the dog to the men's room with you, because we can't fake it in prison. So we need them to experience that, and they've all been great. When Mike first joined us, his first write-up included all the things that he had introduced, I believe, Patriot to, and the design of every men's room that he took. He said there were 2 stalls, there were 2 urinals, there was a lot of room, it was a dirty floor. We had everything. So when we explain that to our volunteers, they understand the importance. Because while we are getting more women to apply for service dogs, we have a lot of men. The majority of our veterans that apply are men, and so we need the dogs to experience that. So while that's not the most important thing, it is something we ask, and like I said, everyone's been great about it. They've been wonderful. They really have been. So another group I would like to introduce, stand if you wish, are women who came to us through Wolf. So can we please acknowledge them? They are the people who do the training, and our weekend raisers do the socializing, so they get a pretty well-trained dog. When we come into prison to the inmates, they do not get a well-trained dog. They get a lunatic. And sometimes they get multiple lunatics together. This time we had brought in triplets, and it was mayhem. It was just, every time we turned around, there were puppies rolling on the floor. So they do the hard work. We place these dogs, and these dogs are so great because we are a huge team, but if we didn't have them, we would not be able to do this. It is through their love and dedication that we're able to do this. And I saw Jennifer Barrett question if she should stand up, because she's from equine, but the equine inmates also worked with our dogs. The dogs are scattered throughout the dorm, and it's not a big dorm, so everybody had hands-on dogs. Everybody had dog hair on them all the time. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and we really look forward to when the group, when we say, can the Wolf women stand up, that group is going to grow and grow and grow. Because as they get out and they stay with us, we hope that they come here and celebrate the work they did. So thank you guys very much. Eagle came to us. She's sponsored by the Fraternal Order of the Eagles in the Ocala Forest, and it is in the forest. It is way out there. And they have lovingly sponsored Eagle. They, I'm not quite sure how they even found us, but when they did, they have embraced us. We have another sponsorship waiting through them. So we have Eagle, and then I've forgotten the second name. Can you guys please stand up from the Eagles? Dakota? What is the next dog's name? Dakota? Dakota is their next dog. They decide, they pick it. That's how we get these names. Thank you guys very much. I know you come representing Rockville. So Bradley is sponsored by Villagers for Vets. So anyone with Villagers for Vets, please stand. Thank you guys very much. The first time they met Bradley was when they met him here. Bradley had an interesting beginning in prison. He was our one and only dog that we've had a massive emergency with. The dogs are trained in CPR and the Heimlich maneuver, and when Bradley was very, very young, I think he was 12 weeks, he was doing a training session and aspirated one of his treats, and had to be emergency rushed out of prison, which is a hard thing to do because prison's really far away. So it was a handoff. Miss Jerry, who is approved to go to prison, grabbed him. She took him to Mike. Mike took him to the vets. The vets took him to the University of Florida Small Animal Hospital in oxygen. And it really we didn't think that Bradley was going to make it. They were really concerned about his lungs and his health, and he spent a long time getting better. And they said, if Bradley makes it and he's okay, he's going to be a great house dog for someone. And his inmate mom said he's going to be a great service dog for someone. And Bradley, God bless him, he came back to us, and we worked really slowly with him, and he's fine. Through all that work of getting him out and getting him the treatment he needed, he has been a wonderful service dog. And it's thanks to the emergency crew we had set up, and thanks to his inmate mom, Hyla Hansen. So Bradley, like I said, is sponsored by Villagers for Vets. They have sponsored many dogs. Their newest dog is Tank, and when I just say the word, everyone seems to know who Tank is. Tank is our very first Bernese Mountain Dog. And what we found out is while they are amazing and they're big and they're cute, it is too hot in prison for a Bernese Mountain Dog. So he is currently out with weekend raisers in air condition, which he desperately appreciates. So we hope to get more of that breed. We're working with prison to air condition a section of the prison, the day room, which would allow us to leave Tank in there and he could stay in there. And I'm sure all the dogs, and I speak for myself, I would appreciate air in the day room. So we're working on that. So thank you, Villages for Vets, for all your support. Radar is sponsored by the Dynamic Dog Club, and they have done tons of fundraising. They have done circuses and events. They had a birthday party for him. And the Dynamic Dog Club, please stand up. Has also sponsored multiple dogs. They sponsored Xena, which we named after Xena Princess Warrior, and she is not quite a warrior. She is a frail Mastiff. She's huge and very, very, very shy. So the Dynamic Dog Club is aware that not every dog makes it, and Xena's the perfect example. We got her and had all kinds of dreams for her, but we pick up an 8-week-old puppy and they don't necessarily want to do this. So when Xena was removed, she's still hanging out in prison. She's loved, she's fine, she's getting all the training and the love, more love than she needs. But she's not going to make it as a service dog, and we have to accept that not all dogs make it, for multiple different reasons. So Carmen came to me and had a difficult situation in her family, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if his picture was up? The little black lab that you see is Tucker, named after Carmen's nephew. And so Dynamic Dog Club now has Tucker with us, and we desperately appreciate your help. Thank you guys very much. Trooper is sponsored by Old Town Trolley. So when you're in many major places, Key West, Savannah, St. Augustine, Boston. You see those trolleys, those red and green trolleys that go around. For many years on Veterans Day, they take $1 from every ticket purchase and put it towards a dog. So Trooper is one of their dogs. We've had quite a few, but Trooper is here with the Old Town Trolley, and while they are not here, let's applaud. And finally, Commander. Commander graduated last year. It didn't work with his veteran. It doesn't always work. And Commander came back to us. And Yvette took on retraining Commander, thinning him down a bit, and making him into the service dog that he is today. We're thrilled as he flies on the floor. Commander is sponsored by the Blairs. Georgia and Richard Blair found us many graduations ago, and at the graduation presented a check and said, we want to sponsor a dog. So the first dog was Georgia, which is Richard's wife's name. They came to graduation last year to see Commander place, and Georgia has since passed away. And Richard lovingly called me and said, Georgia wants another dog sponsored. We want to do this again. So he sponsored Commander. He now has Shelly in prison, and he has Wiley in prison, which is a standard poodle. He not only sponsored Wiley, he paid for Wiley from the breeder. He picked Wiley up from the breeder and hand-delivered her to the inmate mom. So, Mr. Blair, can you stand up? So, we appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Lori talked a little bit. The Trooper was mad his people weren't here. Lori spoke a little bit about our next step. And while we're growing, and it is our 10th anniversary, since we took on our new puppies, I have also turned down 11 dogs in the past 2 months, 11 puppies, because we don't have the room. And our weekend raisers are fantastic. But we have to start them in prison, and we just haven't had the room. We have been full to overflowing in prison. We've had kennels set up anywhere we could stick them, and prison has been fantastic about it, but we have to have the time to do the training. So, like Lori said, with the property being donated, we will be able to expand and be able to say yes to those puppies. When Mr. Blair brought Wiley, he kept saying, they're willing to give us the sister, they're willing to give us the sister, and we just didn't have room. So in the future, hopefully next year, included in our pictures will be pictures of what we've done with that property, how we've developed it and what we see. And we have wonderful volunteers who are heading up that committee of fundraising. We have decided on the name Patriots Landing. So when you hear about that, hopefully you will, we'll be doing a lot of fundraising so that we can build our next step. Lee, it is up to you to finish. We thank you guys very, very much.
Before we end all this, I would like to thank Carmen for everything you've done. Thank you. You have helped me out tremendously this week. I could not have done what I've done without your help. Thank you so very much. That being said, none of us would be here, me, myself included. I would not be where I'm at, doing what I do, and enjoying the passion that I have if it weren't for Julie's.
You all play a part in this. If you're here and you're just here to support us here, we thank you. If you've supported us for years, we thank you. If you've gone to puppy crops and cropped and cropped and cropped, we thank you. If you've served in any capacity, you've helped us grow, you've helped us get to this point, and we sincerely appreciate everybody. To our families, to our friends who have shown up, to all of you who make this important today and every day, we truly thank you. We would like the opportunity for you guys to take pictures with the veterans and their dogs. Please be sensitive to the fact that they may not want to, they might need a minute, they might need a breather, but we have an area set up in the back so that you can do pictures. Some of them have said that's absolutely fantastic. Other of them have said it very quietly, so I'm not sure they want to do a whole lot of pictures, but we will work with them. We want your group to have the pictures that you need, but we also want to honor their feelings. So if they need a minute, if it's just the dog, let's work with them so that this is great for everyone. We have cake in the back, and we have a picture booth in the back. And again, thank you all for making this trip. Thank you.